All right, let's dive into the power rankings here. Number 10 coming in. I got the Kings. Kings here. I think the Kings are in. I like their roster. They've been playing some good basketball. Domantas Sabonis is. He should be. We were talking about All-Star voting. The fact that Domantas Sabonis is not in the All-Star voting, and you have Kayvon Looney in there, and some of these, and Draymond in there, and you don't have Sabonis in there, blows my mind. I mean, I'm a Gonzaga guy. My wife went to Gonzaga, so I'm a Gonzaga fan. Love Sabonis. The fact that this is why All-Star voting needs to be adjusted somehow. I get it's fun for the fans, but put my man in your All-Star voting ballots. He deserves it, and he is absolutely crushing. He's got the Kings first in the Pacific Division. Love this roster too, by the way. I mean, this roster, you got some young players, you got some veterans, they got a nice little mix, they got some depth. I think they have a nice little lineup. Now, they have struggled a little bit in the last couple weeks, or this last week, they lost to the Lakers and the Hawks, not great losses. And then you have wins against some weak Magic and Rockets teams. So, for that, they lost to the Grizzlies recently. They beat the Jazz. So, I just think that they're kind of, doing what they need to do. But I like their roster. If you're looking at the rest of this division, Clippers still trying to get some chemistry put together for them. Phoenix, their window, I think, is closing, if not already closed. Golden State will make a run now that Steph Curry's back. I mean, the fact that Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, all those boys are Jordan Poole, those guys are going to start to make a run. You want to talk about somebody making a team making a trade at the deadline is maybe Golden State. If they get a nice, solid push in their front court as far as getting in, some bigs that can, affect the game, get in the paint, play some defense on one end, and get in the paint on the front court. I mean, I love Golden State to start climbing this ladder. I could see Golden State overtaking Phoenix, LA Clippers, and potentially Sacramento. But right now, they're still trying to get back in the swing of things with Steph Curry. So, we'll see what happens with them. But Sacramento Kings, I just think are a team that, they're fourth. They're a nice surprise team. They're a fun team to, keep tabs on in the West. And, hey, they're lighting the beam quite a bit. Kings offense has been able to make up for their shaky defense. And besides Jokic, Sabonis is the only other player in the top 19, both rebounds and assists. He's a double-double machine and leads the leagues in double-double. So, I love what they're doing, and I think that, they'll be good surprise team here down the stretch. Next up, the Pacers. Indiana Pacers. Now, I kind of like what they're doing here. Indiana Pacers have a lot to be excited about because they're playing some good ball. 7-3. They've won 8 of their last 10. Now, they're knocking on the door. They're right behind New York. I think they're going to be, starting to get a little bit better. They've been going guard heavy in their lineups recently, which has been a success. They've been playing really, really good basketball again, getting some wins against some solid teams. They got wins against the Cavs over that 8 out of 10 game win in the last 10. Wins over the Cavs, wins over the Clippers, wins over the Blazers, the Raptors and Hawks. They got some wins over the Heat and Celtics before that. So I like what the Pacers are doing. Halliburton is playing out of his mind. Love what Halliburton's doing, but he's out at least 2 weeks. So, we'll have to keep an eye on him. And, that kind of makes their lineup a little bit smaller. They might be making some moves around the trade deadline. Who knows? We mentioned a couple names on their roster that I think might be on the move. Buddy Hield is one of them. So maybe they switch and move Buddy Hield, but Miles Turner's always been in some conversations, especially with the Lakers and this and that. So, but you never know what's going to happen with that. Mathurin's been playing well for a rookie. Benedict Mathurin's been solid. Honestly, right now he's averaging 17.2 points, 3.9 rebounds. I like what he's bringing to the table, and I think they got a nice young core that they could build around, especially They got my boy Andrew Nemhard, another Gonzaga boy out there. That's he's in the starting lineup as of right now, but he's not as effective. But again, they're running those smaller lineups, and it's paying off for him. It's hard to defend when you have so much speed in a smaller lineup to defend when you're opening up the court and cutting and all of those. It's a different pace of the game, and if you're not ready for that, the Pacers might surprise you a little bit. But right now, they're looking pretty solid here. Again, I don't know. These two teams have been bouncing in and out of the top 10 over the last couple weeks, so we'll see if they can end up continuing to do that. Next up, we got the Pels. Pels, they are battling some injuries. So, they've kind of been up and down. I love this roster as well. I mean, their depth on this roster between McCollum, Ingram, Herb Jones, Zion, you got just top to bottom, Valanciunas. They're doing it all. They've been hurt. You're missing a couple big names on this roster. Obviously, you have Zion missing some time, and then you also have Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram hasn't really been available at all. So when you put all those together, I really love what this New Orleans Pelicans team could be. Right now, they're 25-17. They're 3.5 games back of Memphis. Obviously, Memphis tied for the Nuggets in the number 1 spot in the West. So, they most recently dropped the game to the Celtics, losing by about 11 on that one. But other than that, really think that the New Orleans Pelicans will, if they get healthy at the right time, could be good for the playoffs, and they would be a scary team to face in the playoffs. What's up, D-Cole? How we doing? Welcome in. Good to have you. Appreciate you being here. Next up, we have Philadelphia 76ers. They are getting a little bit healthier as the weeks go on. They are 25-16, 5 games back of the Boston Celtics in the East. 6-4 out of the last 10, losing to the Thunder, but sweeping the baseball series against the Pistons. So other than that, they were winners of 5 of their last 6 previously to before that loss to the Thunder. So only losing to the Bulls. They beat the Thunder, the Pelicans, the Pacers, all pretty solid teams along their schedule when they were getting those wins. So like what they're doing here. I think that, you have Joel Embiid here banged up a little bit. They'll give him some rest if they need. James Harden is playing actually some of the better basketball we've seen. The problem I have with James Harden is whether or not he can show up in the playoffs to help his team, because that is not something he's able to do on most basis of the playoffs once they start coming around. So Maxey, Tobias Harris, who knows what's going to happen with maybe I don't know. PJ Tucker, I think, is always in some trade talks. Either way, I like this starting lineup. You have Melton off the bench, Thibault, Niang, Montrezl Harrell for some toughness off the bench. I don't know. I kind of like this Philadelphia team. Do I have them up there with some of the better teams in the Eastern Conference? Not quite. I think that they still are a little lacking, and I still think that just the eyeball test isn't quite there yet. I think they could get there, though. Waltos, thank you so much. Appreciate that love. Gifting a sub to Valor. Giving back. I know we get that as the last night. So, hey, appreciate that love. Let's go. Thank you, Waltos. Good to have you back in. So, yeah, Philadelphia 76ers, I think, are a team that will be in the mix. I think they're one of those top 5 teams in the East that really have a good shot to make a potential run. But Joel Embiid foot soreness, you're going to have to keep an eye on that 100%. So other than that, I think everybody playing together on that team at a high level, the Sixers are a tough team to beat. Tough out for sure. Next up, the Cavs. Cavaliers. I think that they have been one of the better teams, especially defensively over the course of the early season. Donovan Mitchell putting up 71 the other night. So his storybook season is just continuing on with the Cavs in this at this juncture of the season. I mean, Cavaliers are scary in the fact that they play some of the best defense in the NBA. Now, I do have some thoughts on the Cavs. The Cavs have been a little bit worse over the last couple. So they gave up, in a loss 116 to the Jazz. They gave up a ton to the Nuggets when they played them, 121. They typically only give up about 106 per game, 106, 108, somewhere in that range. So they've been a little bit worse on defense recently. They've been having some injuries popping in here and there. So I downgraded them a little bit here below. I mean, they're a game back behind Milwaukee. I think that they are still a super dangerous team, but it depends on how the consistency of their defense and how they continue to play. I think their offense is pretty. You got Darius Garland, you got Donovan Mitchell, but outside of that, I mean, Evan Mobley's a great piece. Love Evan Mobley, but Isaac Okoro and Jarrett Allen. I think that offensively, maybe a little bit lacking. They can put, Jarrett Allen. I love, man, the fro, and he gets the dunks, gets all the defensive side of them, but Mitchell and Garland are kind of like the two-headed monster when it comes to the bulk of their scoring. I think you got Ricky Rubio back here. So Ricky Rubio making his debut. They got some great pieces, right, Ty? I'm with you. They got some great pieces. It's kind of weird to look up and see that Kevin Love is still on this roster, by the way. Kevin Love. Love Kevin Love. Man, he's been in the league for like 100 years at this point. But yeah. And I think, Lauri Markkanen. Man, Lauri's having he's letting loose. He's letting loose this season, isn't he? Woo! He's having a great season. But yeah, I think Okoro's one of the holes on this starting lineup that I just think, man, if you had one more piece there, took out Okoro, you have Mobley, Allen, Mitchell, Garland, and then another piece there. I mean, that would be a hell of a starting lineup. And they have a couple pieces on their bench that can make it happen too. But I still like Cleveland a lot. That's why I have them here at number 6. All right. Next up, we have Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks coming in at 5. They moved up the rankings this week, even though they have been losing a little bit. I still think that they are. I mean, the fact that they're winning games with Giannis putting up like 7 points and 9 points here and there. Their win against the Atlanta Hawks, Giannis had a stat line of 7 points. He put up, 10 assists, 18 rebounds, so it's still great. But only 7 points. Brook Lopez put up 20. Drew Holiday put up 27 in that one. So you had that matchup where, maybe the offensive output wasn't quite there for Giannis on that one. Then you also had the, the Knicks game? Or was it the Heat? I think it was maybe the Heat where, no, he missed the Heat game. So either way, Bucks 27-15, given everything that they've been battling through, the fact that they're 5, I think is giving them plenty of credit. Milwaukee, I know you hate when the Bucks aren't number 1. I know. You want them to be number 1 every week. I get it. But I think 5 here is, I feel like a pretty good spot for them. I think it's a little bit on the end of the Milwaukee, but yeah, Milwaukee's he's pretty standard in the criticism of his Milwaukee Bucks. He holds it against me here. But that being said, again, this is where things are at now, not where things are going to end. This is how this works with power rankings. Just because you're first 1 week doesn't mean you can't be 10th 3 or 4 weeks later. There's a lot of things that happen. And the fact that they're here in this position is actually impressive, Milwaukee's. I'm giving you credit. I'm giving them credit for being here at number 5 because they're 27-15. They haven't had their second and third best player for a lot of the season. I mean, Drew Holiday he's been banged up. He's coming back. He's getting in the rhythm again. You have Giannis, he's, missing a couple games, maybe some load management, maybe he's banged up a little bit, rightfully so. Rest your stars, that's fine. Get them some time. But I mean, you're missing a ton of people here, and you're still where you're at. That's a testament to where this Bucks team has been just treading water, right? They're still leading the division in a good division with Cleveland. Indiana Pacers, 4 games back. I think they're going to be, in the mix too. Hey, 5 is great. Milwaukee, you should be happy with this. You should be happy with 5. It's only going to get higher the more healthier they get. I promise you. And they'll climb the ladder. I tell you this every week. Milwaukee was the team preseason number 1. I don't know what you're smoking, Milwaukee. I love you, but not on this list. Not on anybody's list. Go around and look at any other power rankings. I guarantee you won't see Milwaukee at number 1. But that doesn't mean I don't like them, and I did pick them preseason to go to the NBA Finals. So there's that. Next up, the Brooklyn Nets falling down. Remember this, Milwaukee's? Yeah, no, I'm excited for you to have the full team. They'll climb the rankings when they do have their full team, when they're winning games and they're dominating. I love that. Except for the Milwaukee newspaper. Yeah, Waltos. Yeah, exactly. Milwaukee's, remember when I had the Nets number 1? Look at how far they've dropped. They might drop more. They lost KD. KD's out for a little bit. Got some injury news this past week where he's going to be missing, a good chunk of time. I think 2 to 3 weeks is what we're looking at. And that affects the rankings. I don't care if they've won 10 of 11 games. I don't care. I mean, they're going to be up here. They're still on the top 4. But just saying, it's what I think is the current state of these teams. The Nets without Kevin Durant aren't as good with just Kyrie and Ben Simmons. They're not. Do they have a good team? Sure, they have a fine team. I just don't know if they can keep it rolling. That's why I kind of tentatively had them here at number 4 for the week. The Brooklyn Nets have had one of the best runs of any team all season long. Hey! Let's go. What's up? Thank you, Jim, for the raid. Appreciate you sending all your folks our direction. Jim, I hope you had a great stream. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. All you guys joining in. My name is Chris. I'm your host for the Action Lab on this hour-long Thursday night NBA special. We do this every Thursday night for 1 hour, go over power rankings and everything else. So thank you for being here and being a part of the stream. Jim, how was everything? How are you doing over there? Chairman, Bucks are the Packers of the NBA. Enjoy the trolling. There you go. And Chairman waits looking for the Pistons to show up on the list. Maybe they might be a little bit higher. What's up, Chris? How we doing? Raid. That's right. Welcome in. Let me give a shout out to Jim. Appreciate you being here, Jim. Thank you for all the love. Go give Jim a follow if you have not already. Spicy.
It's spicy.
That's right. Gosh, that's the best sound drop. What's up, Jim? How we doing, my friend? Talking a little bit of NBA tonight. So we're having a lot of fun building out our top 10 power rankings of the week. Again, do this every single week. What's up, STG? Welcome in. Carrying the load here. Scotty's not here, so I gotta keep things rolling, right? Just in time for number 3 on our list, the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies, obviously leading, tied with my Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference. Honestly, the Grizzlies are an interesting team, and I'm trying to figure out the Grizzlies. I'm torn on them because they're good. They are good. They got a nice little winning streak here. They've won 8 straight. Ja is fantastic. Love Ja. They have a gritty team. Their roster is solid, top to bottom. I mean, when you're looking at Steven Adams, Jackson, Brooks, Bane, Morant, that's a hell of a starting lineup. And that lineup, it's a bruiser lineup. I mean, I love it. Brandon Clark coming off the bench. Again, I've mentioned a lot of Zags on this show. I'm a Gonzaga Bulldog fan. My wife went there, as mentioned. Hey, it's nice to see some Zags getting in there. Zaire Williams, nice young kid. Tyus Jones, Conchar, all of them. I like this. I like it. I'm starting to wonder, though. Part of me is wondering, is 8-game winning streak, how... Hey, you play the roster that's in front of you. You do. I'm looking at their roster, and they should be beating these teams. When you're playing the Spurs twice, who are going for the lottery, the Jazz, they're free-falling, the Magic, the Hornets, the Kings are the best team, Kings and Pelicans, both the Kings are still a young team, trying to figure it out with Domantas Sabonis and all that, those boys down there. Nice roster. Then you got the Pelicans, who have been kind of banged up, but still a really good team. They're on the power rankings here. And the Raptors. Over the course of this 8-game winning streak, there's only been a couple teams that really stand out that have been competitive. Kings and Pelicans. Everybody else. So I'm excited to see what they can do. They've lost previously to the Suns, the Warriors, the Nuggets, and the Thunder. 4 teams in the West that kind of are middle of the road, except for the Nuggets, obviously, and tied for the first. I want to see how this Memphis team handles some of the big boys, some of the big teams that are at the top of the standings, some of the hard hitters. So we'll see. They have the Pacers coming up here in a couple days. So Pacers, they are here on the list. Jim, also props to the Pacers on your 9 on your list. Halliburton getting hurt sucks, though. Yeah, I think that, oh man, Halliburton's so much fun. When the Kings got rid of him, I was like, I was shocked. SDG Kings haven't figured out the 2005. Hey, they're surprising people, SDG. They're going to be in the mix this year. I mean, will they be competing for a championship? No. Let's just be real with it. But I just, the Kings are heading in the right direction for the first time in a long time. Probably, this is the best, I feel like, the most I've talked about the Kings and the most I've thought about the Kings since they had the, Peja Stojakovic days and, Jay Will and Chris Webber's. I mean, we're going old school. That's how long it's been for the Kings. It's been a while. Pistons must be in the top 2. Yes, Chairman. Yes. Nets without Durant ahead of the Bucks in a series. Bucks in 5. Yeah, I like the Bucks. If you gave me a series with the Bucks against the Nets with no KD. Bucks. Yeah, I'm with you. Vlade Divac. Yeah, exactly. So, hey, don't sleep on the Kings. Their roster they have a nice roster they're building out. It would be nicer if they had Halliburton still. Woo, can you imagine Halliburton on with the unbelievable. That was a weird trade. I wouldn't have approved that trade. But hey, you got Domantas Sabonis, who's kind of like a second. He's like a double-double version of the triple-double Jokic. That's probably more of what I think. He's good. I love me some Domantas Sabonis. But yeah, Memphis. I love Memphis here. That's why they're number 3. I want to see him play some bigger competition. So that's just me. Otherwise, the fact that they're tied with Denver in the top, it's a changing of the guard in the Western Conference. The fact that you're looking up and you have the Nuggets, Grizzlies, Pelicans, and Kings at the top of the conference is kind of wild. Like, and you look you see the Lakers, the Warriors, the Clippers, all down below. Oh man, it's a beautiful sight to see sometimes. No offense to those. If you're a fan of those teams, we're used to seeing the reverse of this right now. So I love the fact that we're getting parity. The teams in the NBA are much more open than those days of seeing Golden State and Cleveland Cavaliers in every single NBA Finals, and you just get burnt out on it. The fact that you have teams like the Memphis Grizzlies, the Pelicans, the Nuggets, you have Cleveland, Milwaukee, Philadelphia. You have 5 teams deep in the East that could potentially be contenders for a championship. It's good to see. It's what the NBA needs. And the scoring output isn't hurting it either. All the scoring, all the stats that you're seeing. Ooh, man. It's good. All right. Next up. Let's see. All right, we got Celtics. Celtics number 2. Celtics, what can you say? 5-game winning streak, 8 of the last 10, and they're off and running. 31-12, leading the Eastern Conference by 3 games ahead of everybody. And honestly, the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum playing out. He's MVP in the stratosphere. He's not quite at the top there, but he's in that mix. He's in that mix. But I mean, this roster, I feel they're playing good, on solid defense. Jason Tatum's kind of taken that chip on his shoulder from the playoffs last year, kind of putting it on and making sure that he's not going to make some of those disappearing acts happen again. This is the chance for Boston right now, with Brooklyn kind of, taking a step back with KD on the bench, not, with the injury. Philadelphia, I think there's some foot soreness with Embiid and things. This is Boston's chance in their division in the East to create some separation. And I think that that's a big aspect of what they have an opportunity to do here in the next couple of weeks. Because honestly, I think that they're poised to be back and in the mix for an NBA final. So I think that they're, offensive rating, they're first. Defensive rating, they're 7th. Net rating overall, first. And pace of play, they're, middle of the road. But I just think that the only thing that's worrying me a little bit is their offense went from historically efficient over the first 6 weeks of the season to bottom 5 the next few weeks. So I think that they are, slowing down offensively a little bit. That's still, but that's not saying much. That's me being a little nitpicky here. Their defense has improved after the game. I think it was Oklahoma City. They put up 150 or something crazy on them. 20th ranked offense. There was some blips along that where I was like, oh, okay, what are we seeing with Boston? Is it just a blip? It was just a blip. And Boston is still good. They're still going to be a top team in the East. And I just think that overall, they're a scary team, regardless. They're at the number 1 for a reason, and they're going to be good. Can't wait for the day OKC does something with all the picks they have. Ty, it's interesting. They're in an interesting situation only because they obviously it's a good problem to have, but if they've been drafting well. You still got Chet Holmgren that is missing a whole season, another Gonzaga Bulldog. How many Gonzaga Bulldogs are we gonna talk about tonight? All of them, I guess. So Roger. But they have, it's interesting because you have a wealth of talent of youth. You can't pay everybody, which means you can piece together some trade packages, get some veterans in. Because, you can build teams with young kids and stuff, but at some point you have to shift because you can't pay high contracts to literally every single good rookie that you wouldn't have enough money to pay everybody. So being able to, they have money to spend as well. True. It's true. But I think that mixing in as you start building a core around 3 or 4 young guys, whether that's Chet, whether that's whoever, you find your 2 or 3 guys, you pay them. Then you start working in, some role players, and you get in some nice, solid veterans as well to kind of mix in. Maybe some, I think that they have the flexibility moving forward all the time. Where's Rec when you need him? Yeah, Rec, we need you. I don't know where he's at. Ping him in the Discord. Tell him to wake up. That's what you need to do. If you're not in the Discord, guys, join the Discord. It's right there in the chat. Make sure you join. Hit that follow button if you have not already. If you're new to the channel, make sure you join in and be a part of the stream, be a part of the Discord. We're always talking sports. We are live every Wednesday and Sunday talking NFL and all other sports topics. So make sure those are our big, 2, 3, 4 hour flagship shows. Excuse me. So make sure you go join in on those. Otherwise, this is a fairly new show. If you know people that love the NBA and love talking basketball, NBA is one of my first loves. I grew up going to games, Nuggets games, going to all games all over the country and having fun watching NBA. I'm a big NBA fanatic, so this is kind of a show that's close to my heart. We want to get more NBA people in here, fans of the NBA, talking hoops. So make sure you go and share this with people that you think would enjoy all the content we have here on Thursday nights. All right. So that being said, we are a little over our hour, but let's get to the number one team. And let's just, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like how Scott feels about his Chiefs, and I feel like I'm that about the Nuggets. Denver Nuggets come in here at number one, and I know I'm a Nuggets fan. I get it. I know that I have a bias towards the Denver Nuggets, but it's easy to have a bias when a team is number one or number two rating offense, and they're only getting better defensively. Over the last 6 games of the season, not only have the Nuggets been one of the best offensive teams in the entire NBA, but they've also been doing it on the defensive side. Their defensive rating is 114, ranked 23rd. But over their last 6, they've only been giving up 106. Nuggets are balling. And they've gotten a lot. So basically, they got the tough road trip out of their schedule. And they did that early on in the season. They have one of the best home records in all of the NBA, along with the Memphis Grizzlies. And they've been playing lights out. They've been putting away teams by double digits on a nightly basis. Some of the games that they were losing and letting slip away they're not doing that anymore. And this is a change. Like there are some people out there that are experts in NBA, top analysts that are like, hey, this is the one year I think the Nuggets have a chance. And it's because Nikola Jokic has help. He's going for his 3rd MVP. He doesn't want it, which is crazy. And he's probably going to stumble into top 2 or 3 in voting when it comes to the end of the season because of where he has the Denver Nuggets. The MPJ, you're asking, Ty, MPJ's been playing solid. I mean, he's been, he's underratedly a pretty good defensive player, but he's hitting threes pretty consistently. And I mean, the Nuggets are the top 3-point shooting team percentage-wise, top percentage shooting team in the NBA. They've just been doing everything you need to do. They've been doing it on the defensive side as well. They've won 4 straight. They're tied with the Memphis Grizzlies for the best in the West, and they have an 8.5 game lead in their own division. From the fact that Nikola Jokic does not need to do it all, gives him the freedom and opens up the court to do what he needs to do. If they double him, he gets everyone else involved. If they don't double him, he gets his. He takes what the game gives him. And that's what's scary about this Nuggets team this year. Chris is to the Nuggets as Scotty is to the Chiefs. Yeah, probably. True. They just beat the Nets tonight. Boss. What's up, Boss Hogs? Celtics. Yeah, Celtics beat the Nets. No KD. I was talking about that a little bit, but still, I mean, you got to put away a team that's and create that separation, right? That now's their chance to do that in the East with a couple teams being injured with some of their top players. Nikola Ballin, top 3 worst fast food chains. Worst? Oof. I'd have to think about that. Like places I never go. I'll think about that. Maybe I get in we get that on our big stream so that we can see what everyone's saying. We can have some polls up. It also helps the Nuggets when they're 11 the last 15 games they've played at home. Yeah, they've been doing what they need to do at home. They're a great home. It's a true home court advantage. We saw that on the TNT special where, they interview a couple of the guys and they're like, yeah, it's hard playing. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the league. The altitude gets you. So, I mean, it's a thing. You take advantage of home court. They haven't done that as frequently in the past, and they've kind of lost some gimme games to some double-digit. That's one of their trends, and they've been kicking that trend this year, losing to double-digit dogs at home against the home crowd. But they're beating some of the best teams in the NBA. They have wins over this last streak of they've only lost 2 in their last, I think, 16. 2 of the last 16 they've lost. And one of which was a back-to-back on the road with the Kings. So get that. And that was only by 1 point. But they've beaten the Clippers, the Cavs, the Suns, the Clippers, again, coming up this week. The Grizzlies, the Celtics, the Heat are playing good basketball. The Trailblazers aren't an easy team. They're kind of a tougher team here and there. So my criticism for the Memphis Grizzlies is the fact that over the course of their winning streak, they haven't really played a ton of good teams. The Nuggets have been consistently playing solid teams, they beat the Celtics 123-111. Sorry, Boss Hog. It was a great game. But those are the benchmark games. Those are the games that tell you what you're really working with. So I really like what they're doing. I think they're getting better and better. So we'll see how things keep progressing. But this is my top 10. So again, Kings, Pacers, Pelicans, Sixers, Cavs, Bucks, Nets, Grizzlies, Celtics, and Nuggets rounding out the top 10. Now we'll see what happens next week. We could have a completely different list here. Nets could fall off. The Bucks, your Bucks, Milwaukee's could be climbing if they get healthier and they start winning some games too. You never know. So this is what I think right now. I just think, man, it's cool to see so many teams that aren't usually in this mix in here. The fact that we have the Pacers and the Kings in a top 10 list anywhere is wild. But here we are. Honestly, I think it's fair to rank them 1. Just need to make you work for it. Yeah, make me work for it, Waltos. That's fine. I appreciate that. And you know what? And I have a thing. I have a deal with the wifey that if the Nuggets make it to a deciding game in the NBA Finals at any point, that there's a chance. Well, not chance. I still need to talk to her about it, but she knows that I'm going to be going to those closeout games, regardless of where they are. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm excited. I'm excited this year. Can I be excited? As a Nuggets fan, it feels good to be excited. I would put swap 8 and 5. Says Lazy Dumper. Pelicans, Bucks, swap them. Okay, that's fair. Pelicans do. Man, the Pelicans have a good roster. If the Pelicans get Zion and Brandon Ingram back in the mix, they're going to be. They're doing it without Brandon Ingram, and they're doing it without Zion right now. Wild. I expect the Hawks to be in the top 10 this year. Boofus. All right, fair enough. I like that. Maybe they make the appearance. Maybe they do. Trae Young stops fighting with his coaches and team and everything else. I think they could get there. Oh man, people need to relax on all the Trae Young. They do. But guys, thank you guys so much for being a part of this Thursday stream. It's supposed to be an hour stream, an hour and a half. We had too much fun talking some hoops. So NBA trade deadline's coming up in less than a month. Can't wait. That's gonna make these. Maybe these are 2-hour streams at that point when we're covering all the trades and everything, all the moves. But yeah, join if you guys are here. Join our YouTube, join our TikTok. Our New Year's resolution this year for the show is to get our YouTube and our TikTok to 1,000 subscribers and followers. It's free to do both on each platform. So go give us a follow on TikTok and go give us a subscription on YouTube. Both are free and it means a lot. And go share with other people. Make sure you go do that. We're going to build those. It's our New Year's resolution in the Action Lab, Scotty and myself, to make sure those are getting and growing consistently so that we can grow our community a lot more. And that's the goal. So want to thank you guys for being here and having fun with me here on a Thursday night. It's so much better when I have people in the chat talking some hoops with me. So thank you. We want to make this the best NBA hour of your week out there. If you're an NBA fan, this is where you should be. So